So we're going to get started. So hi, everyone. I'm so excited for you guys that are joining me right now. And those of you that will be on the replay, this is some very good life-changing info, but also I just decided that I wanted to offer a clearing, which reminds me, I wanted to offer a clearing around financial abundance. And I just wanted to, sorry, I just want to have my notes out here. So I wanted to do a clearing around financial abundance as well. And I'm going to walk you guys through some stillness breath, okay? Because that's really, really important. And even if you're ever suffering from anxiety or anything like that, this is really a really profound tool that you can use to shift, okay? So I'm Simone, and I'm on a mission to end human suffering and help as many people as possible awaken to inspiration, purpose, and abundance just by aligning with their soul and showing up and saying yes to everything that's inside of them, even in the midst of this really difficult time. So I want to bring forth some amazing ideas and let go of some distortion that's keeping you stuck. That's why I decided that I wanted to do this clearing with you guys. It's a little bit different when I do it on a group sort of call rather than one-on-one. It's obviously going to go a little deeper, but it's still, if you just follow along with the directions, you will still have a really profound experience that can go just as deep. So it's just about you. I just can't call you out when you're not honoring yourself. But yeah, so I want to bring that forth and the ideas and everything in the world that seems to be falling apart right now. Even though all of this stuff that's going on and everything that's happening, I want you guys to know that this is an opportunity for all of us to shift, to come back into alignment and to move from a place and into a new trajectory, into a new timeline. We can collapse time and drop into new timelines. And really, it's just about the momentum and the trajectory that you're on right now and shifting that into another, to have a different outcome and then to have a different result than what you're having right now. So even though for some people, like I said, the world is falling apart, there's a pandemic, the world's going to hell in a handbasket, people have this fear. It's not, but a lot of things are coming up and it's freaking a lot of people out. But even on a personal level, for everyone here and pretty much everyone on the planet, you know, we all go through things in our lives where things fall apart and they're not as we would love them to be, but we can look at it as an opportunity to shift, okay? So I'm going to guide you in this workshop how you can thrive financially even now. And so many of us are living with so much uncertainty about what's going to happen, whether you're an entrepreneur or you have a job. I'm going to show you one of the reasons why you're blocking your dreams, and because you're so fixated. But aside from that, you're very fixated on what's going on and everything that's falling apart. But one of the biggest reasons that you're blocking your dreams and how you can fix that, okay? And I'm going to show you and teach you the only thing that you need to prioritize right now, and that is your purpose and showing up just being you. So stop trying to push and control your purpose and instead learn how to take action on your dreams, because so many of us are really like, but what is my purpose? What am I supposed to be doing? So we'll get to that. So one of the things that I've noticed through the last few years, but especially right now, when we're all faced with having to literally stay home and sit down and contemplate life, is that people are starting to wake up to their dreams and their inner gifts, their inspiration, and their intuition. So, I mean, I know 10 years ago, if you had said, oh yes, you know, it's my practice to just get up and do some breath work, maybe meditate, whatever, and people would look at you like you're sideways or you're some hippy dippy woo-woo kind of person, right? But now people are completely, this is the mainstream, this is normal. People are understanding that the answers, there's some people are still looking outside of themselves, but the answers really are within. And so people are learning And even if it's just out of ego and trend that everyone's doing yoga or whatever, they can't help but actually start to tune in to what is available inside. So that is a huge shift in mankind that's going on right now. So, but through this pandemic, when most people had to sit down and sort of do nothing, right? And were forced to kind of contemplate their lives. And it's funny because a lot of people were in jobs and positions that they really hated, and then they were forced to sit down and do nothing. And instead of, for some people, going into a place of, okay, so what would I be doing differently? I don't have this job and I don't have to go to it right now. And, you know, the government's kind of supporting a little bit and there's food on the table. So, you know, if I could be doing anything, what would it be? And some people just instead went into, I'm just going to numb out. I'm just going to drink a lot. I'm going to watch Netflix. I'm going to just like freak out and be wondering what the hell's up? How am I going to live my life? What's going to happen? What if my business falls apart? And all of these things. And we as humans have this need when things fall apart that we think that we have to just put them back together. But sometimes things need to fall apart so that you can look at where you're at in this present moment and make a shift and pivot. Okay. So some people did that. So, so often when we feel like we've hit rock bottom, like everything is hopeless, I want you to understand, again, this is an opportunity. And so, like I said, for you to step into being in alignment and expressing what's inside of you and thinking about what you would do if you could just get paid to do it and just do what you love. And this actually throws up a big wall for so many people because they instantly think, well, how can I live my purpose and become financially free when there's so much uncertainty in the world? Or is my purpose based on my career? And what if I can't get back my career? And am I supposed to be doing something else? So that's what we're here for today, because when everything seems to be falling apart around you, your relationships, your job, your finances, it's an opportunity for growth. It's an opportunity for you to become aware of where you're at and the way that you've been thinking and living and doing and being in your life up until this moment has brought you the results that you have right this moment. So you have the opportunity for something now and something new, to become the version of you that does and has and is everything that you want to be. So what can we do to turn these obstacles into opportunities? Okay. And what can we do? I'm just gonna, my computer's doing something funny here. Sorry, guys. Okay. Just want to make sure this is not that. Yesterday, my computer cut out a couple of times when I was doing a live stream, actually, and doing a workshop. And then it went away and then it popped back in and came back. So I just want to make sure it's not doing that. So yeah, so that's what we're here for today. Like I was saying, how everything, the way that you act and the things that you think of and how you are what is bringing you the results that you have right this moment. So you have an opportunity for something new, and we want to turn these obstacles into opportunities. So like I said, we can numb out or we can do the inner work and we can wake up that purpose that's within us. So what do you plan to do? I want to ask you this. What do you plan to do with this one precious life that you have right now? Okay, really think into that. In fact, there's a famous quote, Mary Oliver, I think. It's what do you plan to do with this one wild, precious life that you have right now? And maybe write that down and think about that, or I can put that in the notes for the workshop. But definitely that's something for you to reflect on. What do you want to do with this one life? Like, do you want to just, you know, go through the whole Groundhog Day thing and keep living your life this way? Or do you want something amazing? Do you want to actually live? You have an amazing opportunity in front of you right now. And I want you to say yes to all that's inside of you, because not only is it a beautiful thing to lay your head down at night and say, yes, I did everything today that my soul desired and required for me to do, that moved me in the direction of my dreams. And more so when you get to the end of your life, you can look back and say, yes, I said yes to what was inside of me. I lived, I loved, I enjoyed, and I am fulfilled, right? Because the worst thing that you can do is look back and say, oh, why didn't I do that? Why didn't I try that? Why didn't I ask that girl on the date? Why didn't I write that book? Why didn't I do whatever, right? So this is what I don't want for you. And so this is why I'm so passionate about doing this. So releasing the blocks to your dreams are all about surrendering. So the number one reason that you have been blocking your dreams is because you're pushing and controlling and you're not surrendering. So think about this. The secret to prayer is forgetting all about what it is that you need. Okay. So a lot of times, even when we go into prayer, we don't pray unless some shit's coming down, and then we get on the horn and we get on our knees and we're like, God, if you just get me through this, I promise I'll do this, or I promise I won't do that, or whatever. But really, the secret to really connecting with that source, okay, God, source, infinite creator, all that is really just to forget about what it is that you need and just connect. And the secret to manifesting that desire in your life and that purpose in your life and allowing your dream to become your reality is to forget what you think you need, okay, or how to get it, and surrender it to the highest purpose for all. And so what does surrender mean? It doesn't mean that you just give up, because a lot of people, they think, oh, well, surrender means I'm just going to give up. And we're going to talk about forgiveness too, because there's a misconception around that. But right now, surrendering is the opposite of giving up, you guys. It's giving over. It's checking your desires that have come through from your soul and releasing them into the infinite intelligence of the universe, of all that is, and for you to be guided and inspired into the next step and into the next right step and into the next right step. Because when you're holding on so tightly to your desires and your dreams and trying to control them, obviously you're blocking them from manifesting into form because you think you have to control them. But when you let it go, then you can allow them to come into form, because when you're holding on so tightly, you are literally pushing it away. So those of you who know me, you know my story, that I survived an extremely abusive, violent relationship with my first baby. And then years later, and I came through that, that's another story. But years later, when I got into a really beautiful, healthy, happy relationship that I manifested, we were really trying hard to have a baby. And we were trying to control the situation. I wanted the baby. We were trying like every day for a year. We tried every day. And yeah, we did. We got down every day. So, and then I went to the doctor and I was like, what the heck is up? Because, it's pretty common in my family that we're very, very fertile. My first son was just like a thought, and then boom, he came. So, we were trying so hard, and the doctor, we went through some testing, and the doctor finally told us that we wouldn't be able to have babies without assistance. We wouldn't be able to have a baby without, the turkey baster and the whole business going on. And it was at that point that I was just like, you know what, I'm just going to surrender, because it's not even about the effort. I mean, that I want it so bad that I'll do anything. It was really in that moment that I was just like, you know what? If I'm meant to have a child with Dave, then it's going to happen. And if I'm not, then that's okay too. He is an incredible father to my son that I came into this relationship with, and I'm really happy with that. So that was totally okay. And so once I surrendered and I let it go, and it wasn't like, oh my God, I have to have this, like, ugh. And every time, that I found out that I wasn't pregnant, I would get so upset. But this time I was just like, you know what? Whatever is meant to be will be, and I'm just going to allow it. And literally within a few months, probably 3 months maybe, we conceived. I found out that we had already conceived, that I was about 2 months along. So, and this is my now 8-year-old son. And then literally within a few months, I was pregnant again. Okay. So we were told that we could not have any children. And here we are. And now we have two. So they are now 7 and 8. And they are absolutely my joy. They're also my stress. But yes, so my summary of that, though, is that, once I surrendered and I let go, it just came through because it was in the highest purpose. And maybe the year before, when we really wanted to, when we were trying, it would not have worked out, that maybe we wouldn't have had the second one, or maybe, maybe I had to really go through the treatment to, I'm just going to turn this off, to get my body healthy and feeling good. And maybe I wouldn't have gone ahead and done those things had I just automatically gotten pregnant. Who knows, right? So it was the plan of, it was, the infinite creator's plan. This was the way it was supposed to go. And, it turned out so much better than I could have hoped for. So your purpose, now we're going to go to your purpose. So your purpose is actually rooted in inspiration. Okay. It is not something that you find outside of you. It's always something that is inside of you. Your purpose is rooted to the inspired creative force of your soul and your higher self, by which you are always a part of. Okay. And it is always a part of you. It is never separate from you. It's just that we lose the awareness of that connection. Okay. So right now you can let inspiration be your goal rather than that specific outcome. So, and this goes with manifesting whatever it is that you want, and also connecting and unlocking your soul purpose and your soul's reason for being here and coming here. Because when you make inspiration your goal, then you literally tap into that soul's blueprint that you came here with when you came into this experience. Every one of us came in with a blueprint. We're coded. We are coded with all of the things that light us up and make us happy and make us feel good, things that we just have a natural talent for. We're just coded with these things, okay? And so some of them are meant to be our life purpose. Some of them are meant to bring us into an experience where we learn and have a huge growth opportunity, whatever it is, right? So we come in with these things. And how many people do you know who live a life of inspiration, who are connected to inspiration? Lack of inspiration in one's life always runs so much deeper than the current situation, including our relationships and what's happening in our jobs or whatever. It's really about the program that the person has running that was formed long ago. And often it's fed by what's been showing up since and what's showing up right now. So true inspiration comes with connecting with a deep truth within, where you are guided beyond the world you see. Now, if you see the difference between real inspiration and ego inspiration, you can understand that real inspiration is what comes from the creator. It comes from your soul. Okay. Because again, a lot of us go into that mental. There's inspiration that can come from the ego, but it's temporary, and it doesn't come from that deep part within ourselves, and it doesn't truly reflect the heart or align with the soul. And as I've told you guys before, the soul speaks to the heart, the soul speaks to the body. And most of the time we're all stuck in our heads, not listening to our body or our soul or our heart. We're just stuck in our heads. So true inspiration cannot come to you that way, and you cannot act from it when you're just stuck in your head all the time. So, part of the practice of what I do, which I'll get into in a second, is taking you out of that. So what we want to do is really peel away everything that is not of our true nature, so that you can see what's in your heart and what serves you on your journey. Because it's about the journey, right? It's not just about the destination. It's not just about getting the thing. It's about, the journey to getting that thing or becoming that version of you. And the short of it is that we need to rewrite the programs that we have running. And those programs are not just in our mind, they're in our body too. Okay. So Now, in the dictionary, we'll get to that in a sec. So in the dictionary, it says that inspiration is a noun. And I wanted to talk to you about that because I wrote that down. Inspiration. So if you look it up in the dictionary, it says inspiration is a noun, and it is the process, which is weird. How is it a noun? I don't know. Because then it goes on to say that it's the process of being mentally stimulated. So mentally stimulated. And so the dictionary says that you are mentally stimulated, and that's where inspiration comes from. It says the mental process of being stimulated to do something, especially something creative, a sudden, brilliant, creative, or timely idea. Again, the mind. Come on. The inspiration is, it says inspiration as a feeling occurs by accident. Okay, so really, because everything that I'm sharing today is the opposite of that. Because does inspiration really start in the mind? No. So I love to look up the etymology of words. That I learned this from one of my mentors, and it's a really cool thing. So when we look up the etymology, it's the root of the word and the history of the word, okay? And so when you look up the etymology of the word, it says that it is the immediate influence of the creator, or God. It says God, actually. It says in spirit, breathe into, infuse, affect, rouse, influence spirit into the human body. And it also talks about inspiration in the sense of alchemy, or divine substance. So I don't know, that's pretty amazing. And I love that, because interesting about the alchemy too is that really goes along with the healing work that I do with the ancestral clearing, because we're going into the sensation, and it does create for a lot of people this alchemy where they start to feel warm, they start to feel like, you know, they're shaking or whatever. And it's, you know, this alchemical reaction that's going on inside your body. So when you're in the process of releasing and resetting your nervous system. So one problem that we have is that most people don't tend to listen to their bodies. So if something inside doesn't feel good, they don't pay attention to what it's all about. If we want a new experience in life, then we have to do things differently. It's just plain and simple physics. Working with, you know, people and healing, helping people to heal. So I'm not the healer, the creator is the healer, but working with people that have chronic pain and, you know, anxiety and other issues over the years, including physical injury. You know, I've seen that unresolved stress, resentment, grief, and even regret tend to come back in different forms, okay? So history tends to repeat itself. Like the actors, oh, whoops, hang on here. Sorry, guys. Just checking here, making sure I didn't lose you. Okay. Okay, we're good so far. So history does tend to repeat itself. So the actors, like I was going to say, the actors in our play, they might change, but the frequency of it still feels the same. So like we'll be saying, well, why do I keep, you know, having the same asshole kind of partners who treat me a certain way and I don't like it? Why am I constantly having, you know, these financial struggles? Why am I, like, it's the same patterns, right? So let's rewrite our story. Let's clear the charge to past experiences so that they don't have the power over us. Now, this is where I wanted to talk to you guys just about forgiveness, because forgiveness is the key to keeping this whole process as simple as possible. So a lot of people think about forgiveness and they think, oh, I'm just going to let this person get away with what they did and I'm just going to forgive them. Okay, I forgive you for abusing me and hurting me, and I'm just going to forgive them. And no, it doesn't make it okay that they did what they did. It's not you letting them off the hook, so to speak. It really is for you. And true forgiveness means to let go or offer up. This work is not about reliving old hurts. It is about accessing the higher power of our understanding and humility, with humility and gratitude. Okay, so we are connecting with Source, all that is the Creator, with humility and gratitude. It's about asking the Creator for help in letting go of what doesn't serve us. So when we clear the old burdens, the stress, the karma, and the negative imprints that aren't serving us, we start to notice more peace. We start to awaken more inspiration. It's pretty amazing. When we clear the charge to the past experiences, we start to notice more free will available to us. Now, quickly, as a side note, a lot of people feel like, yes, of course I have free will. I can do whatever I want, but do you have free will? Do you act from a place of free will, or do you act from a place of reaction, habit, just being in that sort of hamster wheel? Because most of us don't have free will. We think we do, but we don't, because we don't act from free will. We actually are, just like I said, continuing the same patterns and programs. And it doesn't matter what has come before, as long as it doesn't have a charge. So we all have a past, and we all have trauma. And even like someone messaged me the other day, and she's like, I don't know why I can't manifest what it is that I want. I don't have any trauma or anything, and I'm just thinking, well, clearly you have some sort of trauma that is coming up, or a pattern. And I don't mean trauma like you had to have gone through a near-death experience or some violent, terrible thing, or witnessed some horrible thing. Really, trauma is something that happens to you either from a past life that's been passed along, you're carrying that energy, or trauma in your lifetime can be something as simple as you, having an experience where it changed your perception of your place in this world, and your value to the world, and your worthiness in the world. Okay. That is trauma. So it could be something as simple as, your brother bullying you, or you getting laughed at school when you made a mistake reading, or something like that. So all of these things, create an imprint. So it's literally, we're going to clear the old burden, stress, karma, and negative imprints. But when we clear the charge to the past experiences, we start to notice more free will. And it doesn't matter what came before, as long as it doesn't have a charge. So I just said that, but it doesn't matter. Everything that happens in your past is there, but now it doesn't have a charge. So when I see what's behind the scenes at a haunted house on Halloween, it's not scary anymore. And that's also true in our life. So when you pull back the curtain and you see what's there, then you can deal with it and move into a life of infinite possibility. You embrace the life that you were meant to live. So when we talk about healing, again, it's not about fixing you because you're broken. It's not about making you all better. It's literally about letting go of the things that are distorting your energy field, your physical body, and looking inside and seeing what has come up in the past where you first started to feel, a feeling of panic or stress or worry or heaviness or whatever it is that you label it. And really to release the charge so that it doesn't have control over you. So it's about moving through your fear. It's about moving through your pain and then coming out on the other sides. So one of the techniques in this practice is that we have our breath be as close to stillness as possible so that we can align with that cosmic reset, okay, and that physical reset in our nervous system, in our bodies, listening to inspiration coming through breath and the creator. So, because this is what happens, right? You go into the void. When you go into the void and you go into the unknown, and having that breath brings you to that place, but that's where you have access to infinite possibility. Okay, so we want to align with that. And when I'm working one-on-one with people, we'll go into the stillness breath, where I'll ask you to take 3 of the slowest breaths you've ever taken. But most people don't, because they let the program they're running win out over that willpower. So the stillness breath should be 30 seconds in and 30 seconds out, like that slow. And it takes time to get there. It does take practice. So, but like I said, most people are closer to like 7 seconds. So I want you to practice this, and I want you to really give it a shot today and do the best that you can to go and bring in as much as you can. I just want to check on something quickly before we go into this, okay? So, no, we're good. All right. Okay. So, yeah. So I want you guys to just understand that it can feel like when you're first doing this stillness breath that you feel like you're not breathing, maybe a little bit. And then you go into like a little bit of, I gotta take a breath. So, and that's okay. So it does take practice. So literally breathing in so slow, like 30 seconds in. For me, I found that when I started to do this, I could breathe in the 30 seconds very slowly, but then I was breathing out because I felt like I needed to take a breath, right? So just do what you can. Try to get as close to 30 seconds in and out as possible, and go from there. So consider stillness, really. This is a way of bridging to where you do have full access to your willpower. And like I said, your nervous system, and your nervous system and your willpower actually will be activated in other areas of your life as well. So when you are doing this stillness breath and you are coming into this piece within about like the issue that we're going to resolve today, and you can choose one thing, we'll talk about that in a second, but when you choose that issue and you go into it and you learn that stillness breath and you start to practice that stillness breath as part of your daily habit, and literally I'm talking 3 or 4 minutes a day, you will see a whole different reflection in other realms of your life. So in your health and in your relationships and in just how you go about your life, everything will change. And people talk about this with meditation too, because they've done all these studies about when you meditate, how it actually changes the physiological structure of your brain. And it does change how people react and go through life. So, I'm not asking you to sit down and meditate for an hour, really. So like even just having this stillness breath for a few minutes a day can change your life dramatically and is incredibly profound. So today, let's just practice one time. We'll give it a shot. We'll do this together. Okay. It's extremely powerful and extremely profound. So I want you guys to be doing this together. And while you're doing that, I'm going to be behind the scenes silently doing the work with the creator to bring this to you and to forego and lay down this distortion that you're carrying and clear you of that so that you can literally change your life. Okay. So initially when I was doing this, just as a side note, I wasn't going to be doing a clearing, but I decided that I wanted to do this because it is going to be a workshop that will be available to people after. And I feel like it's just a really important thing to be doing. So, inspiration, right? Hang on here. I want you guys to just I want to talk to you a little bit about inspiration before we go into this, because something's just coming to me right now. So inspiration really can come from an idea when the program that we're running has an opening. So it doesn't come from the idea literally, it's reflected in the idea. So the mind sees a possibility or a path leading and is relating to the excitement in that specific idea. Does that make sense? So to sum up, this work is really about rewriting that program so that we can resolve those limiting beliefs and conclusions that we create those blinders that keep us from inspiration. So we want to craft and create space for that channel of inspiration to show up consistently. And then sometimes your mind will go into, yes, but I've already been let down. I've already been inspired. And then it didn't work. It's not its fault. It's just the reflection, literally, of the program that's been running. Okay. So when we want to get to the root of things, because it's really inspiration that is available to us everywhere, every when, because it comes from this present moment, because it's pre-sent. Okay. It's present. It's pre-sent. It was sent ahead of time with the original impulse of creation. So Does that make sense to you guys? Like it was pre-sent to you and then your mind went, oh, okay. And so, yeah, but it was pre-sent with that original impulse of creation of you being connected to your higher self, your soul, the creator. And then here we are calm when we're in that present moment. And then we look at momentum and the momentum that we've had and the momentum that we've been carrying. And where does momentum come from? Momentum comes from moment. It comes from being present. So etymology of the word is moment, right? So which is now. All we are is this moment. I know it's a paradox, momentum, moment, because we think of momentum, we think boom, and then we think of the moment and we think boom, we stop, we're present, that's it. So it is a paradox, but we go back into the intelligence and then we take the turn. So we go back, we connect with the intelligence, and then we take the turn. So you have the opportunity in every present moment to connect with the infinite possibility, the infinite intelligence, and then take the turn from there, okay? I know it's a little bit, for some people this might be a little woo-woo, but it's important that you understand this. So that's what this work is, to help you resolve old hurts, like the bullies that create the fear that you live in, because the opposite of inspiration is fear. And so most of us live our lives in fear. We don't live in inspiration. We live from fear. Fear of not having enough, fear of not being enough, fear of not being worthy, fear of not accomplishing, fear of failure, fear of too much success. It's always all this fucking fear. And fear is what's running the show. And so we want to take the fear, punch it in the face, get rid of it. We want to move through the fear. We want to release and move through the fear so that we can connect with inspiration. So you leave the mind, and more importantly, you feel fear in the body. And that's what separates this work from a lot of other practices, because we're actually handling what's in the body. Because the body and what we remember in the body, again, is what is related to every other realm of our lives. So we can start in the mind so that we can get a handle on the judgment and the belief, but really none of it started there, okay? Like we go into, so when I say to you, what is it that you want to resolve, okay? That's why I do this. So I'm going to ask you to get out of your mind and go into the body, but start in the mind. So I don't know. So I want to offer a clearing right now. And here's what I want you to do. I do want you to check in right now with your heart and see if you can handle this. And if you're not sure that you want to really know what's coming up for you, that's okay. You can just relax, breathe, receive the clearing, just breathe gently. And then I'll be working silently, and you'll be going into the stillness breath if you are going to be wanting to see what's coming up as well. So, what we want to do is get a sense of something where you feel blocked in your inspiration. So an example would be, I'm worried about not having enough money because of the economy, and or I'm worried about never finding a soulmate partner and I'm just going to be alone forever. Just pick one thing for now, okay? Even though most of us have more than one thing that we want to resolve, we are only going to ever work on one thing at a time. And so what we want to do is look at what specifically bothers you about it. Like, what is really bothering you about it? Like, if it's like, I'm not going to have enough money, there won't be enough, and I'm just going to struggle or whatever. Okay, but what about not having enough money? Like, what is it that is really bothering you about the idea of not having enough money? Well, then I won't be able to feed my kids. Okay, so now if you can't feed your kids, then how are you going to feel? Well, I'm going to feel ashamed. I'm going to feel afraid. I'm going to feel, so really going into that. And then that's where this helps you to tap into the frequency that possibly goes way back to when you were born, or even before then, or in your childhood. So like when I said it goes back to, well, then I'll feel ashamed. So where in the earliest time, do you remember feeling that feeling of shame, right? So now, once you understand and you've labeled and you've judged it as shame, now you want to go in and notice the sensation when you really tune into what is bothering you about having not enough money or whatever it is, and go into the sensation in the body. And then we're going to bring in the stillness breath. Okay. So that's how this is going to work. And you're just going to stay with what is currently bothering you. Not just, I don't want you to stay in the story and, be in your mind about this. Just staying into what is currently bothering you and the sensation that it is creating in your body, and just let go of all thought about it and go into the sensation. And I want you to just focus on the sensation. So maybe you feel it in your gut and it feels heavy or prickly or hot or cold, or maybe it's moving or whatever. Okay. So as you get a handle on that and you're in the sensation in your body, what are you saying to yourself? Okay. So now, maybe, again, for example, maybe you're saying to yourself, I'm not worthy, I don't deserve love, I am just whatever. So if an image or a memory comes up, then what is it that you're saying to yourself in that moment? Okay. Not freeze or fight or flight, not, oh, I'm going to show them, or, that kind of stuff. Go one frame before that. So like, what is it that your inner child or your soul in that moment is saying? So I want you to give that inner child a voice. So just make sure it's not a reactionary statement. Okay. So now we're going to go into that. All right. We're just going to start, and we're going to get your issue that you want to resolve, whether it's money or understanding. This is not sole purpose right now. This is about, we're going to just clear some things so that we can tap in and connect with inspiration and really move from that place in our lives, manifest from that place in our lives. And this is going to help us do that. So I want you to think about the one thing and think about what it is right now, and think about what that really, really bothers you about it. And then I want you to go into your body. So if you're stressed about money, one of the things that you think of maybe is that I could be in the same position a year from now or 5 years from now, always struggling, never getting by. And where do you feel that in your body? Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to set a timer, because I want to give you guys the full 3 minutes here. It's not something I normally do, but I really feel like I want to give you guys that. So let's go ahead and breathing into that sensation. So we're going to go into that stillness breath. So really just closing your eyes, focusing on the sensation in your body right now, and just breathing very, very, very slowly, as slow as you can. Okay? Here we go. Whew. Okay, so I hope that you guys are feeling something. I'm just gonna check in the comments quickly. And if you guys have any comments, you can let me know. How are you feeling? Are you feeling lighter at all? Or, well, you should be definitely feeling lighter. Do you feel like that was powerful for you? How do you feel once you've gone through that? And you don't have to answer me right now, okay? Because I just want you guys to, if you want to type it in the chat and let me know, that's great. If anyone has any questions, I don't see any questions, so I'm just gonna keep going forward, okay? And I just want to give you guys a moment to just take a deep breath right now and just kind of relax for a moment. And I know for me that when I do this breath, oh my gosh, I totally tap into inspiration. Because when you are living from inspiration, honestly, it changes your entire frequency. I asked you before if you know anyone who's actually living from inspiration. You know, for the most part of my life, I pretty much do live from inspiration. I have my moments, trust me, where I go into fear or I go into stress or I go into overwhelm or I go into, even at the highest level of, some of the people that I work with, some of the people that I do healing work with. One of my clients, he's a billionaire and he has stress about money, about things not working out, about what's going on. Like, it never goes away, which is kind of two parts to that. Is a little bit terrifying because you're like, oh my God, I thought when I hit this level that I would never have these worries again. So there's that terrifying part. And then there's that other part. The other side of it is that, well, I don't feel so bad because wherever I'm at right now is okay. And it doesn't matter how much money you have in the bank or whatever, or how famous you are, or what you do for a living. We're all just people. All of us are just people. I've met so many celebrities in my life. I've worked with some celebrities and, very famous celebrity athletes as well. And at the end of the day, I'm going to tell you, people are people. Doesn't matter. So when you are living from inspiration, it does change your entire frequency because you broadcast a new electromagnetic signature, and that you are met with people who want to be close to you, that want to work with you. They just want to be in your vortex. They want to hire you. They want to, they want to hire you to do stuff for them. They want to hire you to inspire them. They want you to share whatever gifts that you have. It just becomes an energetic force that is magnetic. So when it comes to connecting with your soul purpose and manifesting wealth, or manifesting a thing, or manifesting a partner, whatever it is, just completely stop focusing on the outcome. Like, have your goal and decide that it's happening, okay? But start focusing all your energy on the little actions that it takes for you to feel inspiration. So doing this breath work is huge. Doing the stillness breath, connecting with, what's going on inside of you. And when I'm not with you and I'm not doing this healing for you, you can go into that stillness breath. You can think about something that is bothering you in that moment, whether it's in that moment or it's just kind of an overall sort of thing in your life. And the same thing, go into it. What about it makes you feel really shitty, or stresses you out? And what specifically what are you feeling? And go into your body and then literally focus on that feeling in your body, sending it love and compassion, just like you would a baby, a child, a wounded animal. So you're sending it love and compassion, and you're doing that stillness breath. And again, you don't have to have things come up, or you might just literally have a release and cry. You might start to yawn. You might just, whatever, you might just have a release. There's different ways that you can release. Or you might just feel super light and relaxed. So, but you can do this, and you can, connect with that feeling of inspiration anytime. And then the other thing is that when we're living our life through inspiration, I mean, I can't drop down every minute and be like, all right, I'm going to go into stillness breath for like 3 or 4 minutes, and I'm just going to go into some inspiration here. No, but what I am going to do is I'm going to say, what does my soul want right now? What does my soul want? And what does my soul feel like right now? And then I take little actions from that. Because when I do that, for example, well, my soul wants me to go for a walk and exercise. And my mind is saying, ugh, but it's so much easier to just sit on the couch and chill out and, watch a movie. But my soul is saying, no, I want you to move. And then you go out and you move your body and you go for a walk. And then when you did that, you were out on this walk, and it was almost like a meditative walk where not only you're physically feeling better because you're moving your body and, like getting air and all of that good stuff, but sometimes you'll just get downloads, you'll get thoughts, you'll start to feel inspiration. And it literally, as you know, exercise is one of the things that instantaneously raises your vibration. Hang on, it's saying that I'm unstable. So we're still here. Okay. Sorry, you guys, I'm just, every now and then it'll say your internet is unstable. I don't know why. We have the most expensive, highest fast speed internet. We all do. But yeah, so going back to, the small steps, the things that light us up, the things that feel good, because we know that, when we go for a walk, our body is starting to emit different chemicals and things that, raise the serotonin levels and things like that. So it's just like, it's a natural thing. But then when you're in that state and you feel good, that's when you go, what else can I do that feels good, right? What else? And when you're feeling good and your frequency is different, then you start to just attract and go to the next inspired step and the next inspired step. Because it's not about you going into, how am I going to get this thing? How am I going to feel inspiration? It's about, this feels really good. So now what's the next step? What now do I feel like doing? And it might not always be to go towards what you think specifically is the outcome that you want, but just by you raising your vibration and being in that frequency now opens you up to frequency match with, say, somebody who's looking for somebody like you to give them a certain opportunity. Or, do you know what I'm saying? Like, you just all of a sudden get these synchronicities and all these little things going on. So often now people will come away from a training like this, or a book that they've read or something, where they're given the steps to create what it is that they want, and they end up going back into the ego mind and telling themselves that they don't have time. Okay, so I don't have time to take these little inspired actions. I don't have time to feel like happy right now. I've got bills to pay, people, right? So this is what they do, but they don't have the time to, sit down and write out, a thought or a feeling in their journal and just kind of allow a stream of consciousness to come through, or go for a walk, or just, take literally 4 minutes of stillness breath or 3 minutes of stillness breath to connect with inspiration. They're just too busy feeling shitty and stuck and rushed and busy and overwhelmed, which is exactly what is going to keep you stuck and blocking access to that purpose that is within you. So it's just small inspired actions that you take every day. So, and when you've chosen the outcome and you see that vision of you at the goal, this is where you choose every day to take a small aligned inspired action until they just become a part of you. So for example, if your goal was that you wanted to have a really healthy, physically fit body, then you would consciously choose to maybe eat well. But then it is aligned with your soul to eat well, because when you do it, then you feel really good and you feel like proud of yourself and you feel happy and you feel accomplished, and then you're inspired to kind of keep doing it. And then as you do this, it just becomes a part of your identity. It becomes who you are, and you literally just, you don't have to think about it anymore. You just do it. And as you do it, you transform and you become and you move into that version of you. And we easily become able to manifest our desires so much easier than we could have ever imagined, because we are that person. We are. So if your desired outcome is to have a thriving multi-million-dollar business, then start fucking acting like someone who has a multi-million-dollar business. Now, if I had a multi-million-dollar business, what would I be doing today? Well, I would be doing what feels good. Okay. I would be doing things that, get my message out there. I would be doing things that are helping other people, whatever. Okay. So whatever your thing is. So if you had this, then you become this version as you start consciously choosing to take the actions, and write it down if you need to write it down. Write out 10 things that you can do today that will help you move. And when you look at those 10 things, are they things that feel good? Are they things that feel like an awful chore? If it's an awful chore, it's not really in alignment, even though it might be something that you actually need to do. Like for me, social media, but at the same time, I only do it when I feel like it. I only do it when it feels good. I only do it when I feel inspired to share something. And actually now I'm starting to do it more and more because I feel inspired to share my messages, right? So now it's becoming like this sort of aligned action that I now take. And I used to hate it, but now I like it. And if it's something that you really, really do hate and it's like a waste of your time, or if it's something, then that's when you say, okay, well, I'm not going to do that action. Maybe I'll hire someone to do that. Maybe I'll do it until I can hire someone to do that, because a person who owns a multi-million-dollar business only does what it is that they love to do. We don't do the things that we hate. Okay. We sometimes do the things that we have to do, in the sense that, we want to, like I said, we want to choose to eat healthier or move our body, or, create an ad or do whatever. But again, if it's something that makes you feel good and accomplished when you do it, then you know that it was aligned, right? If it's something that, like, you were doing all this marketing stuff, for example, because you felt like you had to do a bunch of marketing stuff, and then after you did it, you felt like fucking stressed out and like, oh my God, like, I don't know if this is going to be good enough. Who's going to click on this? Like, what the hell? Like that. Then guess what? It wasn't in alignment for you to do that maybe that day, right? Because now the energy behind you putting out that marketing is shit. And now no one's going to click on your offer. No one's going to want it, right? Because why would they, when the energy behind it is like fear, lack, overwhelm? It's the same thing I've taught for years, conscious sales with car dealers. Okay. Of all people, conscious sales is desperately needed. I'm going to tell you, there are some out there that are really great, but there's lots that aren't. And I will tell you this, that whatever you are selling, whether you're selling balloons or, pumpkins or services or cars, whatever it is that you're selling, when you speak to someone in a way that you are offering to serve, and you come from a place of, how can I serve? How can I help this person find what it is that they need to get them, into a feeling of happiness or joy or satisfaction, rather than, oh my God, how can I get this sale? How can I get this money right now? How can I get this? Because as soon as you do that, not only does that person feel that, they disconnect from you. And as soon as you do that with your manifestations, by the way, you disconnect from those too. So you've cut off the energetic flow, because you might have put it out there, you might be creating this awesome thing, and then it's moving towards you. And then the minute you start going into, well, how am I going to get more clients? How am I going to get more money? How am I going to do this? Then you cut off the energetic flow. Sometimes it takes really hustling and pushing and getting something done. And then you realize, oh, that isn't flow, or, oh, that does feel good. And so then it doesn't become such a hustle and a chore and a fear. You understand that it was fearful, it was scary, but you did it anyway. And now you understand, oh, well, I did it anyway. It wasn't so bad. Now I can go on and do it. And then, so then it's like signing up clients, for example, then you move into that place where now you're like, well, okay, it was terrible the first one, but now I don't feel so much stress. I don't feel that pressure. And now I feel good about when I talk to somebody that I'm actually here to serve, rather than getting them to sign up. And if you continue to go into that place, because by the way, you will go up and down, up and down, up and down in your life with whatever it is, money, relationships, like anything that you want to manifest, you know, and how badly you want it, you will go up and down in your energy. So it's really just about you kind of surrendering that, you know, how it's going to happen and just moving in that place of alignment. And the other thing is that I want to say, you can get results by pushing and hustling all the time, and you can build a huge, big, successful business by hustling your ass off. Absolutely you can, but it will not have the meaning. It's not going to have the meaning because maybe that thing wasn't what you should be doing. And then at some point it's going to fall apart where it wasn't meant to be. And you know what? That actually happened to me. I built a 7-figure company, and I worked hard and I did it, and I brought the people together, and I built this and I created that and I made it happen. And it was a lot of work that went into it. And you know what? The guy, my partner, actually it wasn't even a partner. He was someone that, it was an insurance company guy, you know, that I kind of came together and we decided to make it into something that involved him more, and whatever. Anyway, but he ended up stealing it from me, and it you know, fell apart for me. And that's really when I realized, actually maybe not, I actually went into doing it again a couple more times in the same industry, maybe a little bit of a different thing, and again got very successful. But then it wasn't that it went away, but it was just, it had no meaning, and I wasn't into it, and I didn't want to do it anymore, and I wasn't feeling it, you know. And so I just kind of let it go and walk away from it. So, you know, you absolutely can gain anything with hustling and working hard, absolutely, but it just won't have that meaning, and it's just not going to work out in your highest good in the long run anyway, right? So it's what you do, it's when you do this that you start to move forward. So taking the small aligned actions, things that make you feel good, little things that make you feel good throughout your day. And some of those things might be big things that, you know, okay, I'm going to just take the leap and I'm going to sign up for this course, or I'm going to whatever. But you know, whatever feels aligned and feels good, you take those actions and you move forward, and you create more confidence and certainty in what it is that you're here for. Okay. And just expressing, and you, again, you're tapping into inspiration. Inspired action gives you inspired ideas. And so then you take action from those ideas and those feelings, those inspired feelings that come through you. It's the feelings that come through you that give you the inspired ideas, not the other way around. It doesn't start in the mind. It starts from your soul and your body. Okay. So expressing what is coming through you. And when you're doing that, that's where you'll see the greatest transformation in your life take place. Before you know it, you're going to wake up doing what you love and getting a shitload of money for it. Okay. So stop focusing on how you're going to get there. Instead, be present and allow yourself to be there now by bringing the feelings that you are desiring and requiring and giving them to yourself now in this present moment. Because here's the other thing about manifestation and purpose. When we are living our purpose and we are living from a place of inspiration, we say we want this because it might not be the job that we want or the career that we want so much. It's the feeling that we want when we have it and we're doing it and we're receiving the things that we desire. It's the feelings that we're really chasing. So we want to feel security. When we have a lot of money, we're going to feel secure. We're going to feel abundant. We're going to feel happiness. We're going to feel joy. But you have the ability to give yourself those feelings right now in this present moment. And this is how you manifest and understand your purpose, because what is of your highest inspiration is your purpose. So now I really want you to think about what is within you that inspires you. And I want you to write it down now. It doesn't matter if it's all a bunch of little things that you love or light you up, like maybe you love coloring, maybe you love cooking, maybe you love artwork, maybe you love, parenting, maybe you love, just doing stuff with your kids. But it's about committing and because it might not be that little thing that is your purpose, right? It's something that you love and it raises your vibration, but it might not be, I don't know why I can't talk. It might not be the thing that you're supposed to be doing, but it's about committing and connecting and doing a small inspired action every single day. And if it feels good, you keep doing more of it. Because if you align yourself with inspiration, then your purpose finds you. And I know that this is the most important time in history where you can be learning to align yourself to confidence and inspiration and abundance, because people are ready to wake up in a way like they have never been before on our planet. Like I said to you guys, 10 years ago, we were like, what the hell is manifestation and meditation? What a bunch of bullshit. And now it's like, everyone's like, how can I manifest? When can I get in here and do some yoga? When can I meditate? People signing up and paying tons of money to learn how to meditate, like all kinds of things that we never thought. And I can't tell you how many people want to, like online, sign up to learn how to manifest stuff, right? So this is what brings me to the next big thing, which is thriving through these insecure times. And if you're feeling stressed out about your financial situation right now, then I want to acknowledge and honor it. I don't want to minimize it. I don't want to make it sound like it doesn't matter and that it's just like, oh, you're just being crazy. Just think positive. No, okay? I understand how scary it is to not have what we need. Trust me, I have been there. Again, in my journey, I was in an extremely abusive situation where if I asked for money for diapers or milk, I would get beat up. Like it was, so I understand that it's really scary not to have what you need, okay? But when we stay stuck in that mindset, we create more of that. And I'm going to ask you to open up to a shift, because when we open up to that shift, that's when our purpose becomes our profession. That's when our purpose and inspiration becomes the transformational work that we can do in this world. And that's when money begins to shift from something that we lack, and it becomes something that we begin to understand that we deserve and is available to us. And so we shift our mindset and we shift our frequency as well into abundance. So when we're constantly thinking about all of these things, again, you understand how to do the peace process. Like, what am I super stressing about right now? Go in there. Take some time to do some stillness breath throughout the day. Tune in and ask your soul what it needs every day. Write it down, okay? Write really incredible, important questions that really strip you down to your core level, where you can figure out and see what needs to come through you. So ask the hard questions. That's why we do the journaling. That's why I give you guys these things to journal on, because I want to ask you questions, and you can start to learn to ask yourself the questions that, are going to help you shift and change the mindset and the feelings that go along with it, right? So I want to get you into this abundance mindset right now. So we need to shift this perception of our ability to receive money, our ability to do work that's fulfilling, and our ability to manifest. And when we make that shift in our perception, it's an absolute blessing and a miracle. Yes, I understand what it's like to be going through tough times right now. I want you to just breathe and let go of some of that pressure, because that pressure is what is creating the resistance, keeping you stuck in that place, like I just said, okay? So we want to change this whole thing around by being present in the moment to where we are. Not where we think we should be, but again, where we are in this moment. And you guys, like, holy shit, I can attest that I go into these moments too. Like literally, years ago, I could have started my social media and been on there and doing my thing, but I never did. Okay. So literally, I just started in the last few months making an effort to grow my social media following. And I get really impatient because I'm like, ugh, I don't have enough followers. And I'm just like, I go into that too. And then I'm like, but really, who gives a fuck? Do I need like 10,000 followers for like 3 or 4 people to say yes to me to help them shift their life, or just even one person who wants to work with me? In fact, I had no social media forever. Okay. I never posted on Facebook. I didn't have a group. I never went on Instagram other than to post pictures of my kids or me and my girlfriends out having a night out. And, change anything for me. I was able to still build really successful business and have lots of coaching clients. It just didn't do anything for me because I just attracted them, right? Like I literally put it out there. I put out my message and attracted the people in the areas that I wanted, and they just came to me. Okay. So anyway, yeah, so it's where you are in this moment. I digress. It's where you are in this moment. And when we focus on inspiration in this moment, it starts to elevate momentum, which we talked about, and the energy behind us to get into the next step and take the next inspired step and the next right step and the next right step. So if you be inspired energetically, okay, by the light where you are, no matter what's going on in your life, you tune into the light, you tune into the inspiration, your abundance will multiply. And again, it's not about, well, I feel like shit, so I'm just gonna, put on a happy face and dance around and then hope I feel better. No, I mean, move through it. Go into a moment of stillness, breathe your way through what's coming up for you, and ask yourself questions. When you feel like, well, I can't do this, I can't take this action, I can't take this, it feels like I really want to do it, my soul is telling me to do it, but my mind is telling me no, it's too scary, then really ask yourself, is it really? Is this true? Is it true? And most of the time it's not true, because it's shit that we make up in our heads. But even if it was true, is me not doing it worth me not receiving my destiny and living into my destiny? And again, I'm going to tell you that most of the time the answer is no. It is not worth me giving up my destiny to stay in this fear or to stay afraid or whatever it is, right? So, and I can say that with honesty and conviction because I know that it's being in alignment with our soul and the energy of abundance and surrendering it all to the universe for the infinite intelligence. This is what opens the doors. This is where the synchronicity comes in. This is what brings the people into your vortex. This is where the synchronicities happen. This is where you'll receive creative, inspired ideas that you would have never had come to you or had the confidence to do. So like maybe you didn't have the confidence to write the book or start the business or to ask the person out on the date. And it never would have come if you didn't just take the aligned action, okay? Most people talk about, I want to talk about manifestation for a moment too. Because most people talk about manifestation like it's this esoteric voodoo kind of thing. But really, you, me, and everyone else, we're all manifesting all the time. Unfortunately, very few of us are consciously manifesting what it is that lives in our hearts and that it lives in our soul. Are you manifesting what you truly desire that serves you, your family, the community, the planet? Most of the time, no, because you're in ego and you're like, no, I really need to have this big house because then, then I'll feel worthy and then other people will like me. And this is where we manifest from. But I'm going to tell you, it's totally okay to want the big house and to want the nice cars. But are you wanting to have those things, to manifest those things in order to, be able to really let your soul have the experience of driving a Lamborghini and owning a Lamborghini and being that person who actually can do that, right? Like, holy fuck, does it serve you to be a multimillionaire who can travel and buy whatever they want and give to whoever they want? Yes. Okay. Absolutely. That serves you. Does it serve you to struggle and just get by and, just save up enough money to get some fancy car and mortgage yourself down to your underwear so that you can drive this thing so that people will like you more or think that you're more successful than you are? No, that is not in alignment with your soul. Can you have the thing? Absolutely. It's where you're manifesting it from and whether or not it's aligned, because there were times when, things that came up in my life, if I hadn't gone through these things, and for every one of you as well, like if I hadn't gone through this abusive relationship, for example, I would not have probably done the work. Like if I had just like, bam, woke up and had, say I left that relationship and then bam, I had a really successful business all of a sudden, without having to do anything really, which is possible, by the way. But if I did that and I had that, would I have done the work that I did over the last 16 years to become who I am today? Probably not, right? I wouldn't have dove so deeply into personal development and spirituality and energy work. I might not have done that. So it did not serve me at that time to have all of that. So, and it wouldn't have been me manifesting from something that was aligned at that moment. So the world is ready for a shift, a time when more and more of us become aware of our abilities through the connection to source energy. And we begin manifesting consciously, begin manifesting with our heart and our soul. Because losing my voice here, I've been talking for a long time, because we are ready for a change. We are so ready for a change. Holy shit, the world is crazy. So many people on this planet are unhappy, and we don't have to look far to see that. We don't have to look far to see suffering and disconnect within the masses, okay? Within the collective. When we pay attention to where we are, we can get motivated, and we are ready to shift. That's why everything that's going on in the planet is going on, because we're ready to shift. Finally, humanity is ready to make a shift, okay? I have to be careful when I drink out of this cup, because it has a big drinking hole, and sometimes it just goes all down me. So anyway, we're ready for a change, like I said. And there's always two major reasons why we're not manifesting what it is that we desire. And that is, one, that we're not a frequency match. And so again, like what we're putting out, how we're doing it. Are we manifesting and trying to create something from a place of lack and fear that if we don't get it or we don't have it, then we're not worthy, like that? And then the other second thing is, again, that it doesn't serve us now. And I just talked about that with, had I just all of a sudden had a ton of money 16 years ago, would I have done all this work and become who I am today? And maybe I wouldn't have been, I don't know. I honestly feel, yeah, things came up. I had to go through things fell apart. So I had to pivot, had to change, but it all led me to this path, which was me inspiring other people and helping people to create transformation in their lives, giving people results where they go from stuck and struggling to, living their purpose and manifesting all the money that they could ever desire. Right. So I wouldn't have done that. And I wouldn't have been there. I wouldn't have, and you might not have done and been inspired to do this work right now had you not gone through the shit that you've gone through. I know some of you on here, I know some of your stories, and had you not gone through that shit, you wouldn't be where you are right now. So for you to have gotten what you wanted in that moment at that time, it would not have served you. Okay, so that's the whole point. In general, you do need to resolve these common blocks. Okay, so one is that you don't trust what you feel. Developing a trust in your own heart's experience is critical to consciously manifesting. This is the opposite of being in your head. Okay, again, we've talked about this throughout. By not trusting your feelings, your experiences can't truly serve you. So if you don't trust how you feel, all the things that you went through are just a waste, okay? If, however, you allow your experiences to serve you through being honest about where you are right now, you'll receive the deeper meaning of the experience. You'll receive it, and you'll understand it, and you'll move through it, and you'll get the lesson. And then when you get the lesson, you stop repeating the goddamn lesson. And when you do that, you can shift either into releasing what it is that you don't want, and into having what it is that you do want, that previously was out of your reach. It seemed like you could never have it, right? Developing an ability to surrender to what is critical to trusting your heart, regardless of what your mind is telling you, and consciously manifesting from that place, okay? And the second thing is, again, you hold limiting beliefs. These are just two common blocks. There's so many blocks, really. When we talk about blocks, I hate to say the word blocks, actually, but things that are stopping us and keeping us stuck, right? So you hold limiting beliefs, and consciously or unconsciously. So most of the time, the momentum from the past shows up as a belief that you have about life. It's blind or unconscious, and it's like you don't even know it's there, and you blindly adhering to these beliefs and buying into this bullshit that comes up that may have been passed down from generation to generation in your family, or that you've picked up along the way that can block your ability to manifest consciously. These beliefs can pull you back into the trap of familiarity and complacency, where you're just not doing the things that you would normally be doing to create that momentum. And their momentum is difficult to overcome until you become aware of them. So it's really important for you, again, through this work, when we go into this thing about what is it that you want to resolve. Okay, I want to resolve money issues. Okay, what about money issues? Well, that I won't have enough money to look after my family and pay the bills. Okay, so what about that makes you, like, what about that is it that you want to resolve? Well, I don't want to feel the shame. I don't want to feel, okay, so where do you feel that in your body, right? And so when you go into that, and then something comes up for you when you were in your childhood, sometimes an image or a memory comes up, and it's the time when you actually first picked up that thing, that feeling, and experienced that feeling of unworthiness, that feeling of the belief that you're not enough, that feeling of the feeling of the belief, the feeling of, that feeling of unworthiness, and then transferring it into and storing it into your body and then into your mind, that it's now a belief that you're not enough, right? And that's what holds you back. So when you are able to see where it comes from, then, and again, even asking questions. I can give you guys some questions. Those of you that are in Recoded and Loaded AF, you guys got some questions yesterday about how to get through some of the things that are blocking you. So that will be in the portal. But I can put some questions here along in the portal with this for you to have a look at what's coming up, what's stopping you. Really, in manifestation, again, when I went through the steps in the first module, one of the biggest things was that, when you choose what it is that you want and you decide that it's going to be easy, and you decide that it's coming to you, it just is, okay? Why would it not, right? I want you to literally have a look at that version of you that has the thing, and look at what's between you. What is coming in between you and that goal or that outcome? Okay, so what is it that's coming between you? And so when you are able to kind of see what's coming up that's blocking you, then you can go in and ask the questions and whatever. So, it's there. So for you guys that want to work on that, it's really important that you are aware of what is blocking you, because these blocks may seem incredibly obvious and simplistic at first. But like I said, sometimes they're really deep in there and you don't know they're there. But becoming aware of them in your own life requires diligence, a deep desire to shift from the old way of life to ease and create a new life of ease and grace and flow. And developing a spiritual practice that resolves your blocks is critical for conscious manifestation. So again, we don't go, well, I already cured, or I healed those blocks. I released those blocks. I don't have them anymore. Because again, life is a journey. We're always there's things that we take on all the time. When you go into hypnotherapy and all these things come out that you didn't know were in there, it's because literally your mind is so incredibly amazing that it stores everything that you see, hear, taste, touch, feel, especially when you're little, especially when you're a kid, because of the frequency that your brain is in at that time. But even as we go through our lives, we store a lot of things. We take on other energies. Energy, we know, is everything. Energy is a physical thing. We carry energy, the energetic distortion that is around us in our field, around us in our bodies, literally in our DNA. Okay, epigenetics is the study of over and above our genetics. We know that we can now change how our DNA expresses itself, and that we carry epigenomes, which are amino acids that are in our DNA that carry ancestral trauma and energy. And so it's literally in your DNA. So you can't just do one sesh and be like, well, what the hell? It's a conscious thing that you need to do every single day, just like you need to shower. And again, having that spiritual practice doesn't need to take up your whole goddamn day, but it literally can mean the difference between you shifting into and connecting with inspiration or not. Okay. So it is so important for you to do that work to open your life up to more possibility. Now, when it comes to unlocking our purpose, it really is about looking back through our life. Okay. And we're almost done here. It really is it's about looking back through your life and looking at all the things that you loved to do when you were a kid. For example, when I was a kid on the playground, I was always either on the swings singing, and I had like a crowd around me, or I was like on top of the monkey bars, and I was always just, singing and just being out there and getting that sort of, I loved to give people advice. I loved to inspire people. Even as a kid, I loved to fix everybody. I was a nurturer. Okay. I wanted to fix everybody. I wanted to heal everybody. I wanted to take in every stray animal. Ask my mom. I actually took in stray people many times when I was a kid. Even now, I have a stray in my life who is like my other kid, so this is what I do. I'm a nurturer. And then I grew up to be a transformational leader and guide people into alignment with their soul and their purpose and teach them how to manifest from that place. So I always want to nurture and love and support. So it's what I became, right? So what are the small actions that you've been taking in your life that were effortless actions that you took because they felt good and they felt aligned? And what were the things that you had a propensity for, right? Write them down. Think about that. That effortless action that can easily shift you into joy and feeling light can be something that will immediately shift you out of fear-based thinking and into abundance. Wealth begins by feeling wealthy. Purpose begins by feeling purposeful and fulfilled, right? So where in your life can you feel like purposeful? Where in your life do you feel fulfilled? Where in your life do you feel abundance right now? Okay. So wealth, like I said, it begins by you tapping into bringing that in your life. So when I say, because a lot of people will be like, but I have $5 in the bank, so how can I feel abundant? Well, how you can feel abundant is really, what is it that you have around you? Who is it that you have around you? The fact that you can breathe, the fact that you can walk, the fact that you have your health, the fact that whatever, it starts getting you into a feeling of abundance. And honestly, if I had $5 in my bank account and that's all that I had, I would probably give it away, because what does an abundant person do? They give. So I would be generous and I would just give it to somebody that I felt that needed it more than me, right? Because I know, again, when we hang on to money because we think it's not going to come around, that's an energy that you are putting out, and that's what you're aligning with. So it's like breathing. We don't breathe in and then not breathe out because we're afraid we won't get another breath. And it's the same thing with money. Money is energy, just like everything else. And so we have to know that there's more coming. So if we're abundant and we are trusting that we are supplied and we are taken care of, then it's okay to give. It's okay to go and get something that's better or healthier for us. It's okay to whatever, right? Spend your money, not to blow it on stupid shit, obviously, but you know what I'm saying, right? So I want you to sit down and I want you to write a story. Well, first of all, I want to talk to you about moving into a state of super flow, okay? Because you need confidence to take aligned action. And when you're in a state of super flow, you're in a state of confidence. You're in a state of alignment. You're just like, holy shit, things are coming. I feel good. And sometimes you can go into a state of super flow when you're working or when you're just doing something small. It could be an all day long thing. We go in and out of super flow. We don't constantly live in super flow, but like, trying to, or allowing, don't say try, do or do not, there is no try, right? But being in a state of super flow requires confidence, right? And the confidence to take that aligned action. And confidence comes from your ability to just be authentically you. Literally at the end of the day, and the biggest thing that I teach is just show up and just be who you are, just be you. Because you are enough. You're perfect just as you are. And what needs to come through you is what the world needs to hear. Okay? It's your purpose. I want you to sit down and I want you to write a story around some adversity that you had in your life. something that you went through, because that story of where you were and what happened and how you came through it and got to the other side, that is your transformational story. I see coaches going, and I'm just talking about coaching for a moment, but people that want to, coach people, but they don't have an idea of how to get them from here to here, right? And really all you need to do is to sit down and do the inner work and say, okay, so this is what I went through. This is how I got through it. And yes, life is always a journey, but you must be having some sort of incredible result that you can share so that you can bring other people that result. And that's the transformational story, and how you came through whatever the storm was. That's your street cred, okay? You don't need a ton of certificates and diplomas. It's not a bad thing to have those. I have tons of them. The only reason that you would want to get those certificates and diplomas and things like that is for your own expansion and your own growth, but not to make you worthy of the ability to share your own transformation. That could be the inspiration for somebody else's healing and transformation. That is the gift that you give the world. And that's what you can begin to recognize, that creative forces within you calling you forward, pulling at you, and all you have to do is just let it out, okay? So I'm not going to be posting, or pardon me, so I am going to be posting some journal prompts, like I said, in the portal, along with the replay video, which will always be there for you, and it's always absolutely critical that you connect with your soul and answer truthfully, and just allow a stream of consciousness as you're writing out whatever's coming up. So I want to thank you guys so much for being here. And thank you from the bottom of my heart and my soul for taking this time with me, and for listening, and for being open to expand your life and connect with your soul and your purpose, and to align with what it is that you came here to do, which is the simplest sense, really, is just being you, okay? Your gift is to be you. You can't be your mentor. You can't be somebody else. You can't be this person. You can't, literally stop trying to be everything and everybody else, and just literally be you, and do the inner work so that you can tap into who that is and what's in alignment with your soul, and take action from that place. And so I'm going to post this in the portal, but I want you guys to think about this. If you had $1 million in the bank and $300,000 a month coming in, no matter what, okay, forever, it was just going to come in forever, what would you be doing today, right? What would you be creating? What would you be doing that just made you feel excited and happy and fulfilled and generous and abundant? What would you be doing? Because that's going to lead you right into your soul and your purpose. And when you are in your soul and you are living your purpose, then you are manifesting and creating wealth, consciously aligned with your soul and aligned with exactly who you are. So thank you so much for being here. I love you guys so very, very much. I want you to remember, life is a journey back to your soul, and it starts now. So thanks, guys. Thank you so much for being here. And for anyone, if you guys have any questions, I don't see any questions. I think you guys are probably tired. We've been on here for a while. So anyway, yes. And of course, you guys can message me privately if there's something that you want to talk about or ask about. Absolutely. I have this on my desk. It's bouncing around a little bit. But anyway, I love you guys. Thank you so much for being here. And I will be talking to you very soon. Bye, guys.